Hello, and welcome to Greet the Week. I'm Mona Duncan, your moderator, and today we're going to be talking about some tips for wellness. So let me pull this up. Have just a few things to share. And on wellness. And looking at Greet the Week, it's looking at the fact that now is the only time we have at our disposal. So to always be appreciating now, whatever it is, and wherever you are. So, in the tips for wellness, to practice self care. And what does it mean to practice self care? Well, as a part of the William Glasser Institute for Choice Theory, it is looking at the fact that our body is a vehicle that we go through life with. And so, a, practicing self care is a way of living that keeps you refreshed and replenished and motivated and growing. That it's always to be energetic as opposed to be worn out, to help to calm ourselves down before we get to the point of being worn out. And it is equivalent to keeping your car filled with gas so that you're ready to motor anywhere you want to go, because whenever and however life presents itself, to be able to just get up and go and to participate. And so it's taking care of yourself mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, relationally, financially, and all the other leads that we can add to it that may not be at the disposal right now. It's also self care is to pursue proficiency, to always not just do the best you can, but to be real proficient in it and to do the best that you can, and then reap the rewards of doing the best. And then also the 80-20 principle. And that has a lot to do with everything. And that is that 80% of the people will do 20% of the work. And so that you would go for the 80% application of everything that you do and take care of, that you're taking care of you. So, and in this taking care of you, we want to balance ourselves rather than juggle, rather than kind of going to the extremes. The balancing, if you can see these little scales that I have up here, it has to do with the fact that right up here in the forefront of our mind, we have this scale that is evaluating, do I like it? Do I not like it? Is it good for me? Is it not good for me? But it just kind of goes back and forth a little bit at a time. It's almost not even, we don't really pay attention to it very much. But this little guy down here that is juggling, I mean, he or she is constantly in business and can't look away, can't it's just because it's that tension that's there. So we want to go with balancing. And just some words here that would go hand in hand with balancing is there. The equilibrium, the steadiness, to have poise and evenness. And so it's all about relating, all about relating. This is a quote that I have in my book, Creating Value, and that from the cradle to the grave, the universal human need is to love and to be loved. No matter what the value is, no matter the venue, whether it's home, workforce, salesmanship, community involvement, government, law enforcement, or breakthrough science like Albert Einstein's quality of relating. Relating is all about one person relating with, relating to, not only another person, but what's going on in the world. Relating to and having that relating with. And I've gotten to the point that I just clip off and don't even associate with the ship anymore, as in relationship, because it's too bulky. It's too hard to maneuver. It's too hard to get at. So we want to do with the relating, where it is easier. And etambu is a word from Africa that means, the meaning of it is, apart from community, we are nothing. And that's really true with us. And in relating and not only to relating to and with other people, but relating to and with the weather and the circumstances that take whenever there's difficulties coming into the world. So one thing we want to do is watch out for the savior complex, that we can fix everybody, that we can fix everything. Yes, we will always have the poor with us, and they do need to be helped out, but contribute to, instead of a giving and a receiving, contribute to, give contributions, and have a, instead of the necessity of it, have it the calling that is deep within that. And then, of course, there's also the universal question that was developed by Dr. William Glasser, that for us to continually, in order to have us be as well balanced and as relatable as we can be, to continually ask ourselves, is what I'm doing, is what I'm thinking, is my attitude, is the way I'm, is it bringing us closer together, or is it driving us further apart? And then beginning to look at the caring habits, and that we want to engage more and more in being supportive and encouraging, listening and accepting, rather than the separating habits of being critical. So, and in the process of dealing with yourself and dealing with others, remember your humanity. And I have some thoughts here on the humanity, that you do not have to arrive to be effective. I mean, we can still be in there, we can be halfway, partial of the way, but remember your humanity, and that you do have more effort and more effectiveness than you may be aware of. And to learn from your mistakes and move past them, instead of staying there and dwelling on them. You know, I made a mistake, I made an error, see what I can do but move past it so that it doesn't keep you down. And then realizing that sometimes an answer to someone else is, I don't know, can be really honest, and it can be comforting to them to not know, you know, that they don't know something and that something needs to be worked out, and maybe we can work it out together. And then we always, in remembering your humanity, you want to strengthen the lines. You want to strengthen between what is work and what is playful. And the more we can make play or fun out of the work we need to do, the easier that work becomes. And then to say yes for the right reason. That makes sure that it's the right reason to say yes and to make an agreement with. And then to say no and feel good about it when it is necessary to say the no, that I can't accept this, and so forth and so on. And then feel good about the fact that you can keep yourself more in balance rather than juggling. And then that everything has a trade-off. We may not be aware of it. There's some kind of a trade-off, there's some kind of a repair for it. But not only do we want to remember our humanity, we want to remember their humanity, the people that we are working with. Because there is a difference in telling them something and in asking a question that would help to reveal understanding. So remember their humanity. You know, how many times does someone like to be told what to do? And then be compassionate with comfort and comfortable with pain. Now we're talking about their humanity. So for us to be comfortable with their pain, to be comfortable with the fact, you know, to have a caring for, but to be comfortable with it. And if they don't want to talk about it and tell you everything that's going on, to be okay with that too, to remember their humanity. They may want to share, they may not want to share. And then to realize that we can have a responsibility too, but we are not responsible for the other person and what their ideals are, or what their goals are, or what their needs are. And I think of the movie that Patch Adams was in, and he was in the movie, he was learning to be a doctor, and he was following the doctor around and going into this room and that room and another room, and the doctor would come that this was the well, he named the physical part, you know, this is the heart attack person, this is the anyway. And Patch Adams spoke up and says, Mrs. Smith, This is Mrs. Smith. She has a name. And so it's remembering their humanity. Everyone has a name and they want to be acknowledged. And then always giving respect to others. Whether we agree or disagree, we can still be respectful. And then to earn respect from others. You may not realize that, and it may take a while sometimes to get to the point that we can earn the respect from others. And so going for excellence or going for what is right, and but not perfection. Perfect. I like what Ray Kroc says. He is the founder of McDonald's foods and so forth. Anyway, Ray Kroc said, it is better to be green and growing than to be ripe and rotting. And how true that is, to keep on growing so that we always have new leaves coming on the. So we want to tap into our energizing creativity so that we can be thankful and be productive. Going for excellence. I can do it, but doing the best I possibly can. It promotes spontaneity. It promotes creativity. It is fun. It is enjoying. It's fulfilling. And it's also done with a lot of appreciation. When you're doing with excellence, doing the absolute best that you can, even though it may not be perfect. And whenever you go for excellence, you may be tired, but it's not a tired that you're so exhausted you can't hardly recover. It's a tired that you can recover from, that you can rest from. And then also in looking at simplifying our life so that we can have that more of that effective energy. Reduce the clutter in our lives, in our minds, give everything a home so that it's neat, and at least it may not be. Look at how you're managing your time well, and you're planning what needs to be done, what has been done. Look at scheduling, when to do it, so that it can help to simplify your life, and you'll have the importance of a to-do list, what needs to be done so that things can be created. And then balancing the 2-minute rule, meaning that if there's something else that needs to be stopped for a minute, that maybe you can give 2 minutes to it, but not 20 minutes. So you want to go with a small little interruption if there are interruptions. And then if you're going to laugh about it someday, go ahead and make that day today. Because sometimes life just gets so frustrated. And if we can find some humor in it, if we can find some satisfaction in it somehow, some way. And so as we self-evaluate and what are the benefits if we self-evaluate, if we really think about, and what I could have done, what I maybe should have done, or what I can do in the future. And challenge yourself to excellence. And again, back to excellence as opposed to perfection. And to lessen the dependency on the approval of others. As you can be who you are and be true to yourself, it's not that you shun others. It's not that you don't hear them, that you don't appreciate some input that they give and so forth, but that your dependency is not on the approval of whether they agree or disagree, as to whether they like it or dislike it. It's the fact that you can be who you are because you are a person of infinite worth and value. We all are. And then the freedom to be true to yourself, to be who you really are. I mean, have you ever been around a situation, you think about it later and want to kick yourself about something you did or said? So just be true to yourself so that you can always be okay with that. And then promote healthy competition. That, let's try for this, and maybe I'll win and maybe I won't, but I'll still appreciate you. And they encourage a non-judgmental judgment. As we can self-evaluate, we can begin to see, oh, that was askew, this was askew. You can begin to have a judgment for it, but it's not rigid. It's not a judgmental type of judgment. And then evaluating is a great de-stressor. It's a way to allow that stress to just roll off. And it's also a marvelous motivator. as you're beginning to evaluate what you can do, what you have the possibilities of, what you have the ideas for. And so here, just bringing this to an end, this is a quote from Anne Morrow Lindbergh. And she said, I began these pages for myself in order to think out my own particular pattern of living. And since I think best with a pencil in my hand, I started naturally to write. And so I'm encouraging you to journal, to have to journal, well, and to do it frequently, to get in touch with your emotions. If you're frustrated, write it out. If you're not frustrated, write it out. Also, journaling can be a sounding board from you to you, where you're giving yourself some advice, some good information, where you are helping yourself to overcome. Journaling can help you to clarify those feelings, both the good ones and the not so good ones, to clarify them and how they can be better arranged as a different, to have that cathartic so that it's always working for you. To look at your personal history and it records growth. I know I like to look back. I've done this for years and years and years and go back and look at it, and it would start out with, I'm going to. And then it was going to that. And eventually, as those what I'm going to do can become I am, I have, and it records your growth. So, how do we succeed and overcome? We just focus on one change at a time. Make a plan, start gradually, and build. And so, write it down and always continually be working for what it is you are looking for. Well, thank you very much and appreciate your being here, and many blessings.